I want to cry. I'm not going to lie. I have not been this happy in so long. Oh my gosh. I was going up against Dak and Lamb tonight. I had 44 points as the lead. Danny cut it down. Dak and Lamb had combined for 42. And CeeDee Lamb drops the touchdown at the goal line. I move to 9-2, battling it out for the number one. If I cry during this live stream, understand I just was running around my room like a crazy person. I am on cloud nine. This is the best. This is the best I've felt in a long time. And again, I am just so damn happy. Okay, but we do need to talk about the game. We need to see if anything changes with our rest of season rankings. I can't just sit here and celebrate my own fantasy team. And yes, every single Monday night, I pull this out of my butt and somehow I find a way to win. But anyway, Dak Prescott, incredible performance. I was a little bit worried there at the end of the game that he was going to have another touchdown. They very easily could have if they wanted to, but the Dallas Cowboys were great sports. They decided to kneel it out at the end of the game, and I applaud you for that, Dallas. Thank you so much. You really gave me a little bit of a heart attack when Geno got sacked and turned the ball over. But, yeah, Cowboys just go ahead and kneel it down. Where did we have Dak in our rest of season rankings before this, and where do we need to put him after this? Before this, I had Dak Prescott sitting at QB 6 in our rest of season ranks. After this, do I need to move Dak? Probably not. He's not running the ball at all. He's right there with Matthew Stafford. Could lead the NFL in passing, but you don't have much rushing upside. So Dak remains a must-start QB1 every single week in my rankings. Going over and looking at Javonte Williams. It's crazy to see that Javonte had 22 carries for 93 rushing yards. It felt like every single time he touched the ball, he picked up 10 yards. Like, it was honestly a little surprising seeing them not run the ball more, as it seemed like every single time they gave it to Javonte, he just looked incredible. Now, the fantasy day wasn't great because you had 0 receiving yards, only 1 reception, and at the same time, you didn't have a touchdown. But if we go through and look at what Javonte's given you so far this season, Javonte has been used as a receiver this year. So I'm not super concerned about that. I had Javonte Williams as my running back 9 coming into the week. I had him in the same tier as James Cook, Dowdle, Barkley, Kyron, Jeanty. I don't think I need to move Javonte up or down. He's still a 3-down running back in a very good offense that's going to get involved a lot as a rusher and a decent amount as a receiver. So I am A-okay with keeping Javonte Williams at the 9th spot in our rankings. Obviously, when we do these live streams now, when we're in week 12, these players aren't going to move as much in our rankings as they were back in week 2, back in week 3, back in week 2, back in week 3. I mean, every single game is such a big deal because we're working with a small sample. Now, we've seen these guys play for so damn long, right? So there's not going to be too much to adjust with. Now, going over to the wide receiver position, I had George Pickens as a low-end wide receiver 1 in our rest of season rankings. I had George Pickens as the wide receiver 11. And clearly this looks too low. George Pickens was averaging 19.1 fantasy points coming into this game. And he drops 9 receptions, 144 receiving yards, gets the receiving touchdown, 11 targets. And also one of those targets, I mean, if he was just 1 foot more so in the end zone, he would have had himself another TD. So Pickens had a nuclear day, could have been even better. Like, he leads this team in targets. He's been absolutely dominating CeeDee Lamb so far this season. I clearly would rather have George Pickens over Davante Adams. And I already know what y'all are going to say. I'm just hesitant to do it because I don't want to admit it out loud. I have Nico Collins on my own fantasy team. And if I were offered George Pickens for Nico Collins right now, I would probably go ahead and take Pickens. Like, honestly, I think Pickens has to be an A-tier wide receiver. I think Pickens is in the same tier as Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Rashee Rice. It sucks to say. I don't want to say it, but here's the thing too. Well, this game, the Raiders didn't score a ton of points. And I know maybe you think, oh, it's because the Cowboys went through and they added a big time defensive player at the end of the game. I mean, at the end of the trade deadline, blah, blah, blah. No, the Dallas Cowboys still have a junk defense, right? So a lot of these games, Dallas is going to be forced to throw the ball until the very end. So maybe this is an overreaction with Pickens, but it's tough to say because now after this game, he's going to be averaging over 20 fantasy points per game. Because right now we had on flockfantasy.com coming into this week, he was at 19.1. So now after this game, he's going to be averaging 20 points per game. The only wide receivers that are probably averaging more points per game than Pickens at this point are going to be Puka and Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's it. So I know maybe it seems like it's too high and maybe it seems like it's an overreaction. But I don't know. And then going over and looking at what we have with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb gets himself the touchdown. He could have had a second touchdown. Again, you will see if you watch the Flock League video tomorrow, which I cannot wait to see it. I think it's going to be the video of the year. Like, oh my gosh. I was going insane when CeeDee Lamb dropped that second touchdown. Like, CeeDee Lamb could have had 2 TDs very easily. And I think a lot of people panicking about CeeDee Lamb in the chat right now, they would be changing their tune-up real quick if CeeDee Lamb caught that second TD. Lamb still, at the end of the day, comes through and scores 17 fantasy points. Now, this is just a continued trend of George Pickens being, if not the wide receiver 1, the wide receiver 1B. Again, I think at this point, it's crazy to say, but I'm going to be putting them inside the same tier. And it looks like flockfantasy.com already has the Pickens points per game updated and it's actually 19.1. So never mind. I usually give flockfantasy.com a little bit of time to get those updates in, but I guess they did it immediately this time. Shout out the devs. But anyway, yeah, Pickens, I guess, up at 19.1 points per game. CeeDee Lamb at 15.4. I'm still going to give Lamb the benefit of the doubt. I'm still very easily going to rank CeeDee Lamb as the wide receiver 1 in this offense. Then moving over to what we have with the tight ends. Jake Ferg gets the touchdown. If he didn't have the touchdown, it would be very, very ugly. I'm going through and looking at where our rankings stand. I probably can't consider Jake Ferguson inside the same tier of Tyler Warren, George Kittle, Brock Bowers. I think Jake Ferguson here at tight end 5. Honestly, at this point, there's a good shot that I would have Kelsey over him now that you do have Lamb back in and there are just so many wide receivers taking target volume. So I think Jake Ferg may fall down to tight end 6, but this is such a good offense, so you're starting him every week regardless. Now, let's move over to what we have with the Raiders offense. And one thing I want to see real quick is how does this update the My Teams page? How does my team look like in the power rankings after these updates? So obviously, if you haven't already linked your team with flockfantasy.com, it's literally free, available to any of y'all if y'all want. Just go to flockfantasy.com. Hit this, hit manage. You can add a sleeper league, ESPN league, Yahoo league, stupid simple. But anyway, going through, and one thing you can do as well is if you're a paid member of the site, you can sort it by my rankings. After this, I am ranked as the 4th best team according to the power rankings on the site. Now, with that being said, I'm 9-2, so I guess flockfantasy.com doesn't know anything it's talking about. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll keep rolling with this. But yeah, if y'all ever wanted to go check out flockfantasy.com, it's completely free. We'll show you the best options on your waiver wire as well. You can link your team for free. But let's move back over to the rankings page on the site. Geno Smith, don't need to update his ranking. Ranked as a quarterback you would never consider rostering before. He's ranked as a quarterback you'd never consider rostering after. Now, looking at what we have at running back, why the hell is Ashton Jeanty not allowed to run the ball? Why is I know maybe you say oh, the Dallas Cowboys boat raced the Raiders. That's why the Raiders didn't throw the ball at all. But no, I mean, the Raiders abandoned the run from the very, very beginning. You had 8 total carries in comparison to 46 dropbacks. Why? Is the offensive line truly this bad? I mean, at this point, I had Ashton Jeanty moved ahead of Josh Jacobs with the Josh Jacobs injury. But I have Jacobs on my team. I'm 9-2, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. But especially now that we have the positive news with Jacobs, that he's more so day-to-day, we will go ahead and we'll move Jeanty below Jacobs. Honestly, I would rather have Bucky. I mean, if Bucky's not back this week, I think he's going to be back next. Derrick Henry versus Jeanty, Trevion Henderson versus Jeanty. It's close. That's why they're going to be in the same tier for us. Jeanty, they were trying to get involved as a receiver. Jeanty had a couple drops. I mean, at least one was a drop. One you can say was a drop. Maybe he got tackled to. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. But Jeanty did have 8 targets. We have seen a pretty high ceiling from him. He's still averaging 14.1 fantasy points per game. But the frustrating thing with Jeanty and this Raiders team is they have a tough schedule going into the future. So I'm just going to be honest with you. Knowing the schedule for Jeanty, knowing the schedule for Derrick Henry, even in a full PPR format, I would rather have Derrick Henry than Ashton Jeanty. I think we've moved Jeanty down to our running back 14. Okay. Now, looking at the pass catchers, Trey Tucker is the wide receiver that you would start if you ever wanted to put a Raiders receiver in your lineup, which I don't know why you'd be that excited about it. I have Trey Tucker, wide receiver 45 in our rest of season rankings. I have him right ahead of Garrett Wilson, Khalil Shakir, DJ Moore. If Khalil Shakir was the worst player on your roster and he was down there on your bench and Trey Tucker was on the waiver wire, yeah, I'd cut Shakir for Trey Tucker. I'd cut DJ Moore for him. I'd cut Shaheed for him. I don't think he's a must-start wide receiver by any means. Now, obviously, this week he could have started him because it was a good matchup. And then with Brock Bowers, still an elite level tight end. Don't get it twisted, but I don't think you can put him in the same tier as Trey McBride anymore. Trey McBride just has a different floor ceiling combo. And then, yeah, no other receivers, no other players for the Raiders are interesting, but I really hope you had as much fun this week as I did. I can't believe I was able to win this game. Life is amazing right now. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Y'all are a big reason why it's amazing. I really appreciate everything that y'all have done for me. Y'all are the literal best. I live the dream, and it's because of y'all. Like, I'm going to be able to go buy a new car too, and hopefully 2 or 3 days, the Toyota dealership would tell me when they get a car in. I'll go over there, try to buy a car for the first time ever. I've had a car before, but I was lucky enough for my parents to give me a car back when I was 16. I've been driving that bad boy for over a decade. But I think that's all I got for y'all. I really do appreciate you. Hope you won this week. And again, I want to remind y'all that you can go through, check out flockfantasy.com whenever you want. It's completely free. Links in the description. It's in the comment section, live chat. You can look at rankings from whatever creators you want. You can go ahead and sort this by my rankings. You can go ahead, link your league with flockfantasy.com. See your power rankings. You can sort this by points scored. You can sort this by points against. You can sort this by winning streak. You can sort this by power rank. You can go ahead and you can use different creator rankings to power this as well. Trade calculator, player comparison, prospect profiles, the whole 9 yards. It's all, and you click on a player whenever you want and you go ahead and see all their stats. But all for free on flockfantasy.com. Devs and I are working super hard to try to get that all to y'all. Links in the description, comment section. Really appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, and really hope I get to see you out with a live stream tomorrow.